Why I love A Course in Miracles is what we're going to finish up on today. And I have to say that I had some tremendous response wanting to know more about when you're at the branch in the road, the crossroads, so to speak, in life. The Course in Miracles has a wonderful section in the text, the principle section of the text, which is very deep, and it's called When You're at the Branch in the Road. And by the way, the Course in Miracles says that, when you're at the branch in the road or the fork in the road, whatever you want to call it, at a crossroad, whatever decision you make it. It will be the right choice. You cannot go backwards. So if you have trust in yourself when you're at the branch in the road, so this goes into why we're talking about the power of choice, making hard decisions, being a choice maker. And when you're at the branch in the road, now being at the branch of the road when we have to make decisions does not necessarily mean life-threatening situations or, serious things like that. It can be involved with communication with your friends or with just fun-loving kind of things. When you have to make a choice in mind to ask or not ask or say something, let me explain. I'll never forget it. I've been an avid golfer all my life. So for any golf fans listening, you might appreciate this. And if you're not a golfer, I'm sure you'll still be able to adapt to this as well. I had a golf round going where I was scoring well in a really gut match, a tremendous gut match against my old golfing buddy about a decade ago. But I was hitting the ball thin all over the place. I wasn't hitting it solid, but I was still scoring pretty well. And we call that scrapping it down the middle is what I was doing. My driver off the tee was fine, but it was with those iron shots going into the green that I just couldn't seem to hit them crisp and put them where I wanted to right on the green. And I'm usually smashing my iron shot, so it was totally unlike me. But on that day, my harmony was just off. And my decision making was off as well on choosing the right iron to use because I felt handicapped. I knew that I wasn't hitting the ball properly and I couldn't figure it out in the middle of a match. But then my longtime friend, Dirty Mike, who I was playing against, it was the gut match against Dirty Mike. And by the way, how he got the name Dirty Mike, I promised I would never say, but it's very loving and innocent. So it's a secret that I can't let go. But anyways, my longtime friend since high school, Dirty Mike, and I have always been at each other's throats on the golf course. And we've practiced a lot together, and we knew each other, kind of like brothers on the golf course, But then my longtime friend, Dirty Mike, also an enemy, like I'd said, of many down-to-the-wire battles on the golf course, interjected, and he gave me a well-received tip. And he didn't know that I was getting ready to ask him something. And I said, no, not now. I don't need a tip right now. Okay. So play was slow on that day at the old Tam O'Shanter Dales course in Canton, Ohio. And we were held up on the slightly uphill 13th fairway, dead into the teeth of the wind, staring at a severely undulated green guarded by deep pit sand bunkers. And while waiting for the group ahead of us to clear the green, I had my 8-iron in my hand. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't ask him for help to see if he can give me some help because we're against each other in this gut match. It's fine after the round is over with. And when you lose the match, then say, hey, could you see something I was doing wrong? But I decided in the middle to say, all right, Dirty Mike, can you see anything that's going on while we were waiting with the people to clear the green in front of us? So Mike's ball was near mine, and he had lit a Barclay cigarette, exhaled it, and gently placed it on the bent grass fairway so he could show me something, both hands gripping his club, while his raspy tone of voice clamoring that he was quitting the smokes for good. He goes, I mean it, Jim. I'm quitting these smokes. Probably today's my last day. I can still remember that. He says, Jim, here's what I suggest that you do. He goes, follow something that I read about in a Ben Hogan book. By the way, Ben Hogan is one of the all-time greatest golfers that ever lived. I anxiously waited while we were still waiting for it was so slow. Play was so slow that day on the course. I anxiously waited for some glimmer of hope to quickly answer the swing problem on that quite breezy, wind gusty actually, but sweltering mid-afternoon day in July. He called it the secret to hitting crisp shots dead into the green, Dirty Mike said to me. As much as I know Mike now, I thought to myself, I asked him, did I ask him right? Did I ask him, should I have asked him or should I not? He could be giving me some wrong advice and make me just thinking too much to where I end up losing the round to him. But I decided, another power of choice, another hard decision. I decided, no, I'm going to trust my friend. As much as I know Mike, I thought to myself, he was dead serious about giving up the SIGs, as I was thinking in the back of my mind, because he always was true to his word. Excuse me again, I apologize. But as that admirable perception of my good friend left me, another notion hit me about how inspired I was that he was giving me this tip during a time in the round of golf, the gut match, I could say, where he had me down by 2 strokes and with some testing holes yet to play on the backside of that Tam O'Shanter Dales course. Well, while we waited from about 135 yards out, continually analyzing the wind by tossing up blades of grass, and Dirty Mike said to me, because the ball is sitting on the ground when you are hitting an approach shot to the green, it's very important, Jim, that your chest be facing the ground as your club face impacts the ball. Well, still looking and waiting at the foursome ahead of me, of course, I said to myself, well, I know that because I'm an avid golfer. I know that. Well, one thing you don't want to do is when you're in the middle of a golf round is think too much about the mechanics of your swing. So I had to kind of process this in my mind. He's right, and I know that, but I can't get too technical here because it will screw up other things, which is true. So I decided to go with my gut one more time, and I made another hard decision, another power of choice. And I said, well, Mike, go ahead while we're waiting, expand. Mike added, he says, if not, you're going to catch the ball thin like you have been doing so far today. And I said, Mike, I know that. He says, well, then why are you hitting it so thin today? So I realized then that when you catch it thin, like you lose leverage when you need to be compressing the ball against the club face of like the big guns on the PGA Tour do. There's a lot to be said to that. But need I say, as I write in my book, the first book of the series called The Master of Everything, we can easily turn things around when we accept help. And even if we're mind boggled on should I ask or shouldn't I, that's a crossroad. We can say, ask, and you've made the right decision. In a heartbeat that day, my iron shots then started hitting the green with tremendous spin and control, and I was hitting them crisp like I never thought I could that day, but like I've done before in the past. So I went on to make a few birdies with Mike, making a bogey or two on a few holes, and then coming to the last hole, he made a bogey. I won that match by a very, very slim margin of a stroke. And I tell you, that Dirty Mike is such a good sportsman, isn't he? I'm sure he had the power of choice in his mind to decide whether or not he was going to give me that tip that he saw me doing wrong or not. But he decided to, and he didn't go backwards, and he made the choice, and it was the right choice for him. So the point is here, try to always keep in mind that whatever you're doing in life is, I can say, kind of like being on the golf course. Decisions need to be made. Make the decision, make the hard choice, and don't fret about it. Whatever you decide is the right choice for you. Once you decide, you cannot go backwards. That's when we get into trouble, because then we get confusion going on. Make a decision, go with it, because we can say, as the Course in Miracles says, it's the Holy Spirit, the Spirit within us, that spirit healing power advising you to ask. Go with it. If you feel an urge not to ask, then that's another decision you make. Whatever decision you make is always the right choice at the branch in the road. Hey everyone, I got a few links down below, a blog article similar to this that I hope to lead you to at my safe and secure website. And by the way, please be thinking a lot about your own life and how beautiful you are, and that it's okay to extend yourself to the world. Make that choice to do that and smile and give people your love on a daily basis without overdoing it. And if you want to overdo it, then that's a choice you make again, right? I had fun doing this today. Until next time, God bless.